Yeah, well, I don't think I can pitch it much better than that, so I appreciate the warm introduction. So I'm here to present today Leeuwin Metals. If you've heard of us before, we were previously looking for nickel and lithium in Canada, in Manitoba, but now we've come back to Western Australia. We're from Western Australia, and it's a really simple story. Leeuwin Metals, we've bought the Marta Gold project that's currently going to go through to completion in the next kind of 28 days or so, so it's really close. But essentially, Marta's, there's a lot of extensive known mineralisation. There's many well-defined drill targets. It's close to good infrastructure in the West Australian goldfields. And at our current market cap of around post-deal, it'll be around 10, 11 with about 3.84 in the bank. The EV will be about 6.5. So highly leveraged to any exploration success on gold. Disclaimers, please read at your leisure. About Leeuwin Metals and about Marta. So the Marta Gold project, it's in Western Australia. We're purchasing it off Ramelius Resources for $500,000 worth of shares at completion, as well as some milestone payments. The reason why we like Marta, well, it's got a proven history of mining. There's existing pits, some that were recently mined by Ramelius, but also some historic mines that were last touched in 2000. So the gold price would have been, $500 or something an ounce and less, and that hasn't received any real exploration since. And we also think it complements our existing pool of nickel and lithium, and we can let them sit in the background and wait for the market conditions to turn. And it's almost a free option on those two commodities. Here's an overview of where our projects are. So our Canadian assets are here. We're in Manitoba. Surprisingly, it's actually quite a well-known mining jurisdiction. There's a couple of world-class mines there. The Thompson nickel mine is there. That's been in production since the 1960s. And they've actually got a lithium mine there, Tanco, lithium cesium. So it's a really good place to be exploring for these minerals. We have known extensive mineralisation there at those projects. It's just a shame about the commodity prices and the current time in the cycle, and hence why we decided to come back to WA. We've been pegging some ground in Western Australia, doing some exploration ourselves. We pegged a project up near Onslow, looking for a bit of iron ore. We've pegged some other ground around the place. But what we were really focused on last year was looking for a high-quality gold project, and we found that in Marta, and we also purchased it at a really appealing price and really suited our current structure and gives us a really good platform for growth. And so Marta's 500 square k's of tenure. It's about an hour and a half north of Southern Cross. There's good access via roads. There's a bunch of mills in the region, whether you go kind of Edna May that Ramelius owns, or further kind of east where you've got Menzies and Paddington and the like there. Bit of the overview of the corporate structure. So post-deal, all being said, it will probably have around 100 million shares on issue once we issue the stock to Ramelius and complete tranche 2 of the placement. So we recently raised 3.25 at around just under 10 cents. Gives us a really good platform to have a really low kind of EV, but it also gives us an ability to deliver on the work programs we want to do. And I think you can kind of get the impression from what the cash balance will be. You get a lot of exploration bang for your buck in Western Australia for about $4 million. And we're budgeting about $150 an RC metre. So we think we can deliver about 10,000 metres of drilling this year over a couple of phased programs, as well as on-ground exploration, whether that's some geophysics, rock chipping, revisiting the historical database, things like that. So plenty of news flow to come for us. We're extremely tightly held. Board and management own a fair chunk of the stock, so we're very motivated by equity appreciation. Myself, I'm the MD, Executive Chair, I'm a geologist, so I like to kind of get into the weeds on that. We've got Nick Catras there, COSEC, and we've got Simon Jackson and Scott Williamson there as well to support us on the board. So all in all, I think you've got a motivated management team by equity. We're well funded to do the work we want to do in a tight capital structure. Marta, so this is kind of, I know I'm in Brisbane, so, maybe not familiar as the Eastern Goldfields as some people are, but essentially you can see where we sit. We're about a 3-4 hour drive out of Perth. which is very nice compared to I spent a lot of time in airports travelling to Manitoba. So now we are in a really good spot to deliver exploration on the ground in a really effective time all year round. It might be a bit hot in summer, it might be a bit cold in winter, but there's no seasonality that really affects the work we want to do here. So Marta, why invest in a nutshell? We own 100% of mining leases in Western Australia, and I think I cannot really express how important that is in the current climate around permitting. So that means that any discoveries, any ounces we add, there's a legitimate pathway to commercialisation of those ounces. And I think that was kind of one of the key factors when we were looking for projects last year was access to infrastructure, existing drill hits, resource potential on mining leases. And when you put that filter on gold projects in Western Australia, it gets very competitive. And I think, fortunately for Leeuwin shareholders, we've been able to position ourselves in a good way to purchase this project. We know there's multiple drill hits at the project, so it ticks that box again. We know that we can do extremely low-cost exploration. We're a very small team. We're based in Perth. It's a 4-hour drive from our office. It's really easy to get out there, and we can leverage off all our existing contacts and knowledge in Western Australia. We've done a lot of exploration and mining in Western Australia as a team, so we know we can leverage that off to deliver cost-effective programs out there. And Ramelius will become a shareholder post-transaction as well. So again, building that register with good supportive shareholders who understand what we're trying to achieve. Bit of an overview of what Marta is and what we purchased it for, but the key outcomes, the key kind of takeaways on this slide is that we purchased it for $500,000 of shares at completion with some milestone payments, so $500,000 on 500,000 ounces and $1 million on 1 million ounces. And I think importantly for us, we did this deal when we were 5-6 cents. We traded up to 15. We came off, we're currently trading around 12-13 cents at the moment. The deal allows us to back end the success payments, and it enabled us to get our hands on a really high quality gold project in Western Australia. And why we think it's a high quality gold project is because the table on the right here shows you the existing drill hits. So if you can read them, 2 metres at 16, I mean, my eyes are shocking. I really struggle to read it. But yeah, there's 15 at 7.5, and there's many drill hits like that in the database. And our ongoing database reviews across the project is demonstrating there's many more opportunities that we have that we will release to market once we complete that process. So Marta, because it's got 500 square k's of tenure, from top to bottom, it's about 70 k's of strike of the whole project. And so I'll run you through these slides quickly, but unlike some other gold projects and companies in WA, the size of our current portfolio there means that there's multiple target areas spread across the total project area. So I'll start in the north and kind of work our way. But this is the Marta North prospect area. This is just one of the pits up there. It's called Evanston. This was the one that was last touched in 99 to 2000. There's some historical workings there. There's various kind of numbers around what that was produced at by the old timers. Some estimate, 30,000 ounces of kind of 14, 15 grams per tonne. But already from below the pit, there's some high-grade drill hits there, 3 at 7, 2 at 16, and the like. We know that already it's about 1.5 k's of strike in the drilling within the 4.5 k tenement. And I think you can kind of quite easily tell where we can go and drill test this structure. This is very well understood geology. It's very simple. You've got mineralised biffs, and they're relatively well behaved on the plains. So I think from that point of view, it gives many shallow, high-grade drill targets that we'll be able to hit once we get the project and be active Q2 this year. And so once completion happens, we've got a drill rig lined up. POWs are in, we're well funded, we've got the money in the bank, so we can deliver lots of news flow with the drill bit this year at Marta. Another prospect area, Marta Central, this is where Ramelius spent most of their attention. They mined about 140,000 ounces when they had the project. So Marta Central, it's about 3.5 k's of biff mineralisation. There's 4 pits there. There's multiple zones beneath the pits, along strike of these pits. There's many prospects here that haven't been mined as well. Taipan, Cobra, Marta 4, they haven't been touched by mining. So there's those kind of targets as well. but also the ability to potentially link these mineralised structures up and create a bit more of a bigger structure and a bigger kind of system. And that's definitely something we're seeing in our data reviews, and we're very encouraged by the stuff that we've seen from the remodelling of this data set. And it is an extensive data set. Another project area, again, this is further to the south. You're getting the sense that, obviously we're not just a one-trick pony on this project, and that gives us a lot of optionality to go and test different targets and then move the drill rig around and follow up the best results in time. So Marta South, this again was another pit that Ramelius mined. I think it's important to remember that they mined this in 2019. I mean, you think about the performance of the gold price since then. The gold price is probably 50% higher, even in this really short period. And I think that affects all the type of decision making that happens at the time, whether that's kind of geological exploration targeting to kind of resource cut-off grades and then mine design shapes. So I think that's the kind of benefit we have now looking back at this project. We're kind of small, we're nimble, we're agile, we're lean, and we're very focused on following up these higher grade components of these systems. And again, Marta West, another project area. You can see there's mineralisation along strike of the pit. There's stuff in the hanging wall there. There's some stuff that's further north. So you've got the whole spectrum of early stage rock chip anomalies, auger, geochem soil anomalies, to drill hits that are outside of pits, as well as drill hits that are beneath pits and along strike. It is a really simple proposition for investors to understand, and I think what we like about it is it's a very well-trodden path for companies in our position. Companies that have some, $10, $12 million market cap. We recapitalise the company. We go and pick up a project that's got some drill hits, a pathway to build resources, and then ultimately commercialise those discoveries, all in Western Australia. And whatever you hear about in the world about jurisdictions, WA is the best place to be looking for these things. I've talked to some people in the room. When you think about Western Australia, not only does it have great geology in the Yilgarn, you have a whole network of professionals, equipment, the knowledge base that is out of Kalgoorlie and Perth to really make something like this work, where you can't really do that in most parts of the world. And a bit of other stuff we've been looking at as well. So part of what we are about is Leeuwin is we've got our cornerstone, our flagship asset at Marta, but we're always looking for opportunities via organic, acquisitions, pegging tenements. So this is an example of the type of stuff we work on as well. So last year we pegged a bunch of ground up in the Pilbara, trying to create some early stage opportunities, and we are, conscious that discovery is the best leverage to wealth creation for exploration companies. So this is up here, we went out there, we found 2.5 k's of strike, plus 55% iron ore, next to the highway, 150, 200 k's from Onslow. And I think most of the time, people go, that's interesting, but I think importantly for us, iron ore isn't just about the grade and the tonnes, it's about where it is. This is right next to a highway, 10 k's north of Mesa A. So it is in a world-class region to be looking for these type of minerals as well. This gives you an overview of the news flow. Something we're very conscious of as a junior. It's a very tough market for juniors out there, not only to just raise capital and find projects and attract people. We also know that we need to create liquidity for investors and shareholders, and the best way to do that is obviously, the best way to do it is do presentations at Resource Rising and have Nick Reed corporate in your corner, but then also delivering a lot of news flow to market. And Marta enables us to put news flow out all year round, and kind of create interest in the stock while progressing the things we need to do on a project level. So we're really kind of comfortable where we've landed. It's been a bit of a journey to get to this point, but I think all in all, Leeuwin's in a really good position to have some, potentially really leverage to some the gold price, a good gold project in Western Australia. We've got the capital to do it, motivated people, and now we just got to get the project and do the work. So come and have a chat afterwards, and appreciate your time.